Hi, cuties. Maddie, Whoopie, how are you guys doing today? Spinning, falling over, getting dizzy, spinning. Yeah, we're playing some Pokemon Crystal, but today, instead of just our usual grinding and stuff, we are going after Lugia. Then after we catch Lugia, probably our usual grinding. With Sionwood for the first time in a long time. Alright. Yeah, here in Sionwood, there's something I showed it off, I think, when we first got over here. I'm trying to remember which house it's in, because it's not in Gold and Silver. Photo Studio. Yeah, with that, you can actually print out stuff from your Pokedex and your Pokemon stats. Be good chicken. I think it's her over here. Yep. See all, I know all. Certainly I know of your Pokemon. I see you met Musketeers here. Route 38. The time was day. Its level was 16. Am I good or what? Incidentally, Musketeers has grown. It's gained much strength. So yeah, you know how in modern games, it'll actually have a thing that tells you where you caught your Pokemon, what level it was at, what day it was, and all that stuff. And that wasn't in Red, Blue, or Yellow, or Gold or Silver, so Crystal's the first game that had it. Of course, from Ruby and Sapphire onward, that just appears in like the main screen, but it was actually kind of a thing in Crystal. It was just kind of like a separate feature. Okay. We're gonna go ahead and move Skittle and Egg. Let's see here, double check some. Hi, LD. Glad to see you in here again. How you been doing? ADHD is eating me alive, but I'm good. That's good. I'm glad you're doing at least kind of maybe okay-ish. Let's grab a water-type cutie. Okay. Trying to think. I think it was my Mantine that I had the special stuff on. I actually heated up frozen pizza for dinner. Pizza talk earlier paid off because I was kind of hungry for it. I ended up having one slice of my leftover pizza, but then I had some rigatoni. Also, I made a wonderful mistake and bought myself some powdered donuts when I was grocery shopping because Walmart has like their off-brand powdered donuts for $1.97. And dude, I love powdered donuts so much. Whirlpool! Because the thing is, we haven't been to the islands here yet, the Whirl Islands, and there are actually quite a few Pokemon we haven't caught that are only available here. We're also going to use the opportunity to level up Mellow Cream a little bit. The mini ones, yeah. They come in a little fold-over bag with little metal clamps. Miss Crystal so much. Well, it's right here. Sorry, I'm not sure by context if you mean you miss playing it or you just miss my streams, but either way. Also, LD, I do have my YouTube channel where I have all the VODs since, like, December. I wish I had started saving them earlier, but I couldn't. I really didn't figure it out. God fucking damn it. I need Flash. So yeah, pretty much everything I've streamed since like early December has been on my YouTube channel. Because I know Twitch deletes them. They both. Oh, thank you. Yay. Okay, cordial, just for now. I think we can live without rapid spin. I don't think we're gonna have a lot of spikes users that we're gonna have to worry about. Free stuff! My favorite stuff. Crab! Random fun fact, Krabby's Japanese name is just Crab. Hi, Rain. How are you doing on this lovely Thursday evening, even though it's been like probably like an hour and a half since I saw you? Well, maybe 2 hours, it's like 7:30. You're kidding me. Sorry, I forget old Pokemon games want you to bring every HM ever. I'm not teaching that to Doritu. Okay. Actually, you know what? Okay. Add some tea so the throat's less sore now. That's good to hear. Okay. What we're gonna do... I'm so sorry, Norimaki. I'll get you a real moveset one day, I promise. Cordial, you'll have to take a break for a little bit. Nope, not there. Norimaki unfortunately doesn't... Yeah... I mean, it probably wouldn't be that necessary if there weren't, like, fucking 3 water HMs. Okay, Pocky cannot learn Strength. Trying to get something that can learn Strength and Flash. Yeah, 3 water rate gems, all of which are required. Give me a minute, I'm doing some Cerebeing. Okay, wait. I think I might have something here. Can Mantine learn Flash? No. God fucking damn it. I don't want to have 3 Pokemon just to have freaking all my HMs. Number go uppy! Thank you so much, Rain, for the 7 stream streak. My apologies for that one random test stream that broke a bunch of you guys' streaks. I apologize. But hey, my capture card works. Okay. Your card working is more important than staking. I know. Oh, well, damn. Circus Peanut's already set to go. Looks like I solved this problem already for myself. Oh, that's right, because I was gonna try to use Circus Peanut as, like, my waterfall and everything before I use Norimaki. And then Slowbro can't actually learn any of the other water HMs besides Seraph. And also, while the character customization in the Monster Hunter Stories 3 demo was pretty good, it felt like there wasn't really a way to make your character veer that far away from being just conventionally attractive, because there weren't a lot of, like, face options. Also, not a lot of Pokemon get redesigns, but it's always made me a little sad that Mantine lost its little Remoraid buddy. Which is even weirder because the generation where Mantine stopped having a little Remoraid buddy was Gen 4 when they introduced Mantike, which requires a Remoraid in your party to evolve. I love classic Pokemon games, but HMs are something I do not miss. I mean, I do a little bit miss the whole idea of it just being like you and your Pokemon on an adventure without like a bunch of people helping you, or like, you know, the Alolan cab service being able to just pick you up from anywhere. Oh my gosh, is this going to be everything using Supersonic on me? Because I wanted to grab some free EXP on my way over while I try to like catch stuff. But I'm sorry, but like when things just start using like confusion moves on you, it just like quickly elevates to the yeah, I'm not dealing with this. Let's go. So what level does Circus evolve into Slowking? You see, you joke, but like early on in Gold and Silver, there was a lot of confusion even among some like official sources that thought Slowking was the evolved form of Slowbro instead of like an alternative evolution. Also, fun random fact, with the Pokemon the first movie also had like a little short like I think it was called Pikachu's Vacation, and that was the first time that they showed off like Meryl and Snubble. And the thing is, there were also not like TCG cards, but just like collectible movie trading cards, which are a big thing in the 80s and 90s. Like a movie would come out and it would get its own like thing of randomized trading cards that would have like a scene from the movie and a little description on the back. Did that just take me around in a circle? Yes, it did. And apparently the cards were produced before the English dub of the movie was finalized. Because on the back of the first print run of the cards, it refers to Meryl and Snubble as Peekaboo and Bull. And Snubble's Japanese name is Buru. You know, bull like in reference to a bulldog. And Peekaboo was such a popular fan name because, like, unlike now when Pokemon games launch pretty much simultaneously across the world, within maybe like a week of each other sometimes if there's any difference. You know, like, Gold and Silver had been out for like a year in Japan before they ever came out anywhere else. So a lot of people like to, like, you know, preview the Japanese cards or import them, but they would import said Japanese cards without any knowledge of speaking Japanese, and since Meryl, you know, had a Pikachu-like face, it was a mouse Pokemon, everybody just called it Peekaboo. Peekaboo takes like, "Hey, Seventh, how are you doing on this lovely Thursday afternoon?" The small party sprite of Slowbro. See Laugh just jumping around in a potato sack. Sack, bro! I always, like, just assume it's, like, just chilling, vibing, like... Like, homie got his earbuds in, he does not care about a single thing in the world. Dude, like, if you had ears that curled inward like that, imagine how easy it would be to keep your earbuds in. But yeah, I think I mentioned this before, but as the title implies, we are in the Whirl Islands and we are going after Lugia today. And also, hopefully, like, Seal and Horsey. Still get yanked out full force if the wire gets caught on a doorknob. Oh. Free balls! Free your balls, everybody! So far, I am mostly getting Golbats. Love me some Golbats, but... Though I kind of do miss Golbat's ridiculous giant tongue from Stadium and the Gen 1 sprite. Though granted, on the flip side, my beloved Crobat looks absolutely horrible in Stadium 1 and 2. Like, a lot of the Stadium models have iffy layouts. Some of that I can just excuse to being Nintendo 64 polygons, but there is no excuse for what they did to my boy Crobat. Like, he really looks like he's gonna be standing in front of a freaking display sign in the Walmart that says 99 cents, pulling out the thing on the display and asking, like, "Hey, how much does this cost?" Honestly, like, Stadium 1 and 2 Crobat look like those things in, like, the late 2000s or early 2010s where they're like, what if Mario enemies were hyper-realistic? That's a Crobat that evolved via toxic friendship. Whether you're asleep, confused, or paralyzed, I'm toxic, it's living under... Ow, my vice. That's actually another one that was spelled along with Feint Attack, Vice Grip. It's V-I-C-E up to, like, generation 6? Or 7, I think? Where it actually is respelled V-I-S-E, like a vice clamp. Wait, shit, did I just go around in a circle? Honestly, white and red Haunter looks raw as hell. Nope, and you told me I was actually gonna have to navigate the dungeon. It looks like a shiny Mega Gengar. Kinda does, yeah. Okay, so this was probably the intended entrance. I just did it backward freaky style because I'm like that. Why am I worried about running out of PowerPoints on Nightshade? I have, like... I was gonna say I have a bunch of mystery berries, but they're all in the PC box. Shit. Oh well, fuck it, we ball. Oh yeah, 7th. How's your run of Castlevania going? It's okay, if you haven't gotten a chance to play since getting out of Union Cave, though you're probably past this already, but if you want to grab like Oddish or Paris or something from Ilex Forest, make sure you do that before you do the whole thing at Slowpoke Well. Because if you finish Slowpoke Well, and try to go to Ilex Forest, your rival will jump you. Already beat Bugsy. Oh, okay. Have you added any new team members yet? Got Quilava, Wooper, Ghastly, Geodude, and Zubat. Nice. We love Wooper around here. Guess that brings me up here. If I surf over here, that just brings me to the other side of the pushable boulder. Is this just a circle? Yeah? The hell? Because that's a little hop down platform. There's that entrance there. The only thing from here goes up here, and that puts me right back over here by the other exit. Is something I'm missing? Well, since I popped out the exit, I might as well just go back to Cianwood and heal everybody real quick. You know, I've looked at them for so long, I don't really think about like the letter kerning and the font and stuff used in these old games, but the exclamation point sure is thick. Because I think the same question exclamation point are used in the Japanese font as well. Also, weird Mandela effect thing, the what will whatever your Pokemon's name is do isn't in Gen 1 or 2, it just pops up the menu. Because I always think about the whole what will blank whatever Pokemon do, you know, as the menu prompts. When, like, it feels like something that's always been there, but I think it's really only Gen 3 or 4. You know, it's weird. I don't know if I've ever used Slowbro in a Gen 1 playthrough. It's like, that's the generation that Psychic is just really good at everything. Because you could get away with having, like, half a team of Psychic-type Pokemon in Gen 1. You could have, like, an Alakazam, a Slowbro, a Exeggutor. So I gotta check something. I always forget with the original DS that you can't take out or put in game cards or cartridges without powering it off and then back on. Okay, firing up Pokemon Ruby on my DS. Playing Pokemon while playing Pokemon, on stream playing Pokemon. Also, getting randomly reminded how kind of not great the original DS's screens were. Like the original brick, you know, thick model. Maybe it was just my DS in particular. Okay, yeah, I got Gardevoir out here, but yeah, it says what should Gardevoir do, so it was a thing that started in Gen 3. Thank you, Pokemon Ruby save file from 23 years ago. DS screens didn't really get well, I think the DS Lite has a pretty good screen, but I feel like the DS Lite's a coin flip. My problem with the DSi is if you look at it from the wrong angle, it inverts the colors. And the DS Lite doesn't do that. Like I said, my DSi does that. Maybe I just had bad luck. It's weird because I feel like the Game Boy Micro has a better screen than, like, the original DS. Because I have two DS Lites, both of which I found at thrift stores. I've got like a blue and black one and a pink one, and I feel like the blue and black one must have been a later model because the buttons feel better to press. And, my brain just fizzled for a sec, I'm so sorry. The buttons feel better to press and the screens just feel better. Or they're like the colors are brighter and everything just looks crisper and clear on my blue DS Lite. Also, I think I've mentioned this before, but my pink DS Lite, once upon a time I was playing Final Fantasy VI Advance before bed on my pink DS Lite. Because I kept it on my nightstand by my bed, kind of something like, instead of doom scrolling or whatever, before I go to bed, just like play a game I really like. So I was playing it one night, and it just went, and the game froze. And when I rebooted the game, it had wiped all my save data. And I'm like, oh, that must have been a fluke accident, that really sucked. Because, okay, I did start a new game, and it saved just fine after that, so it didn't, like, ruin my cartridge's ability to save or anything. But anyway, fast forward to a couple months later, and I'm like, there's this one part I got stuck on the first Mega Man Battle Network. And I'm like, you know what? I have the power of the internet. I'm gonna look up a YouTube video how to get through this stupid, confusing dungeon, and I'm just gonna hopefully maybe work on finishing the first Mega Man Battle Network, because I've never beaten it before. So I'm playing Mega Man Battle Network on that DS Lite, and then I set it down to go grab my phone so I could find a YouTube video, and it made the same sound, and then it wiped the save data from my copy of Mega Man Battle Network. So I do not ever put GBA games in that DS Lite anymore. My blue DS Lite's never had that problem, by the way. Where the hell am I supposed to go? DS Lites had weird problems. There were definitely some iffy batches. I will say, like, the pink DS Lite has never had any issues with DS games. It's only GBA stuff. Yeah, this goes to the entrance. What am I missing? The irony that a mouse can't find her way through a maze. I had a DS Lite before the screen was slowly turning bright tomato red and then just broke in the middle of playing. Maddie, I feel like you have had some special talent of getting, like, the most jank DSs in existence, just repeatedly. Lights had really flimsy shoulder buttons. In general, they seem to have really flimsy hinges, because I remember going over to, like, my mom's brother's house for, like, one Christmas or whatever, and this was her younger brother, and he had, like, 4 daughters, and, you know, the younger of the daughters had, like, a DS Lite that they'd only had for a year, and it was already, like, really floppy. Okay, wait a minute. If I cooking? Am I cooking or am I cooked? Like, not to confirm that theory, but guess whose DS isn't turning on anymore? No! Okay, what am I missing? That just takes me back outside. So I am right about there being 2 entrances to the Whirl Islands. And I can go between entrances, but I can't seem to, like, actually go anywhere. I do have the silver wing, so that means I can actually see Lugia. Dude, if I got all the way to the bottom of this finally and Lugia wasn't there because I forgot to get the silver wing, I would actually cry. I would actually start bawling on stream. That's right, we just pull out a copy of NBA Jam and just spend the rest of the stream just bawling. By the time I actually figure out how to get to Lugia, Mellow Cream's gonna be at level 60. Because, yeah, in Crystal, Lugia and Ho-Oh are both at level 60. Because for Gold and Silver, the one that's on your box will be at level 40, and you can actually get it before defeating the Elite Four. Where, well, actually, I think you can get them before the 8th gem. Where, on the other hand, with, the one that's not on your cover will be available at level 70 after you beat, like, the post-game. Which, like, for me, the canon process feels like it should be, like, Lugia at level 40 and then Ho-Oh as, like, the endgame, because Ho-Oh was originally envisioned to be Gen 2's Mewtwo. Because Lugia was originally just, actually made up by the, early season show writer specifically for the Pokemon 2000 movie. Because when he was writing it, like, Takeshi Shudo, I think is his name, like, he didn't even think that Lugia would be in the games. And I remember hearing somewhere that Victini was also made up specifically for the movies and added to the games later. So also Victini being number 000 in the Unova regional Pokedex is something I've always appreciated. I know it's probably not an intentional shout out to Missing No, but I like to believe it is in my heart. Oh, is my more tied to Johto lore, so it would fit, yeah. Also with, another interesting thing with just Generation 5 made me think of this in my head. But like there are a bunch of Pokemon that had hidden abilities in Gen 5 that never got re-released. Or the hidden abilities never got released in that generation. Because like one of the most famous examples is Chandelure having Infiltrator. Which like it has Infiltrator now, but in Generation 5 it was going to have Shadow Tag as its hidden ability. Which, like, a Pokemon that powerful and fast with Shadow Tag is just insane. It's me, Dana. Right now I'm on Route 38. If you're close by, let's battle. I'll be waiting for you. See ya. Oh, Dana, baby girl, I am busy. Or maybe I'm not, because I'm not fucking getting anywhere. Wait a minute. Well, okay, let's go battle Dana, and then we'll get back to our Lugiing. Are there more entrances to the Borderlands? It's been so long since I've done this. Yo, we're at 150 hours, almost 151. With 150 or more to see. Ten more minutes till we can check out of the truck. You're really late. I'm eager to get going. Holy, I feel like I haven't been able to battle with Dorito in a while. God fucking damn it. You know, thinking about it, Chespin was the first grass-type starter not to be some kind of, like... amphibian or lizard or something. It's like Bulbasaur's a frog. Reptile was the word I was thinking of, a reptile or an amphibian. Because Bulbasaur's a frog, Chikorita kind of becomes sort of a dinosaur thing. Of course, Trico is a lizard. And then Turtwig is a turtle, and Snivy is a snake. Also, Serperior still has arms. She just keeps them tucked behind her back. Though, like, Gen 5 and the leaks around it were so funny. Because, like, after Gen 6, they've never gone back to that, yeah. We had monkey, we had cat. Owl. Okay, maybe there are, like... Maybe I'm Mandela affecting myself, but maybe there are, like, 2 other entrances to the Whirl Islands that I'm forgetting about. Hi, Guru. How are you doing on this lovely... I guess it would be Friday morning for you? I feel so bad about missing your stream yesterday. I think it was yesterday. Because, like, I wanted to drop by, but you streamed from exactly, like, right when I clocked in from work. And then you ended literally as I was going on my break. I actually opened the Twitch app, and when I clicked on your stream, as soon as I clicked on it, it said the stream you're watching is ended. And I'm like, ah! Time zones, dude. Why is that even allowed? Bad tummy ache and time zones is a bitch, yeah. I'm not blaming you or anything, it's just like, man, that timing worked out so bad. Simi panicked about the book. What book? Is it your zine for the, con that you're going to? It's my doujinshi for the con that's gonna happen in a little less than 2 weeks. You started on the tones. You got this. I believe in you. If there's anything you're good at, it's drawing buff, handsome gay men and staying up far too late at night. Isn't late, better than an all-nighter. I mean, ostensibly, yes? Then again, I probably shouldn't complain because you staying up late, that's why you get to hang out at my wonderful streams. Ooh. A whirlpool is in the way. Okay, is this a different spot, or did I just do a big roundabout to go to the place I was before? Like, we'll find out. Really? On the one tile? How fucking dare you? Got the freaking 100% PlayStation Network chance. Also, I don't know if anybody watched the Nintendo Directs today. It was, like, kind of okay, but it felt like most of it was just spending time on stuff we already knew about, or it's just like the Switch 2 getting a bunch of ports of games that are like already on PlayStation or Xbox or Steam, which, like, I'm glad that Switch is getting those, but most of the Direct just felt like it could, like, you know, it could have been an email, this could have been a highlight reel. Woke up after it was over and saw it, it was kind of pointless. It's weird because, like, a bunch of cool stuff Nintendo did drop. They just dropped with no announcement or fanfare recently. But Deltarune Chapter 5's release date, and that's all I care to see. Didn't watch it, but looked through my subscription box, yeah. Well, there were a few cool new things. The biggest thing that hit me, the two really big things, first of all, Pragmata and, Monster Hunter Stories 3 have their, demos available on every platform, not just Switch or Switch 2. Resident Evil 9's getting some amiibo. But the biggest thing for me is that the Super Bomberman games are now going to be available in a collection, and they're on PS5 and Xbox in addition to Switch. And I'm really happy. I love Bomberman, because Super Bomberman 4 and 5 never released in North America. Well, and the third one never released in North America, but it did come out in Europe. So they're actually getting, like, new localizations for those. And it also includes the first two NES Bomberman games. And it also shadow dropped, and it's only $20, so... there's that. And Hamster, the company that's doing the Arcade Archives series, they're actually extending it, and they're now doing something called Console Archives, where they're gonna port, like, old games from, like, regular game consoles. Which is freaking amazing, because the more classic games that are available, the better. They're starting, for starters, they've got Ninja Gaiden 2 from NES and Cool Borders, which was a PS1 game. Granted, Cool Borders has been available on, like, PlayStation 3, 4, and 5 for a while, but hey, it's on Switch now. Or it's Switch 2, I think. I don't think it's on Switch 1. I haven't gone and double-checked, but it's looking like we're only on Switch 2 for whatever reason, even though I'm pretty sure the Switch could run PS1 games, and by pretty sure I mean, like, there are already a bunch of PlayStation 1 games on the Switch. And I know it's kind of ironic that the most exciting new things announced for Switch and Switch 2 were old games, but the presentation was almost all old games. Or games we'd already seen. Because actually, now that you mentioned it, I don't know if anything new that was just like a brand new game was even announced. Like I said, all the new stuff that was announced was old games coming back. Which, like, that's fine, but I don't know if that's enough to carry a Direct on. Alrighty, everybody grab your favorite sugar-free, caffeine-free beverage of choice. I got my water, and take a nice big sippy. Okay, I think we're finally getting somewhere. That and Tales of Arise is coming out for Switch 2. Which is cool, but I have it on PlayStation 4/5, and it's a game key card. Which, like, I really only care for double dipping if it's either dirt cheap or a full physical copy. Because I only really buy a digital copy of something if I really want to play the game right now. But if it's a game I already have, I don't really care to double dip for a digital copy. The game key cards are basically digital copies on a cartridge. Which, like, I mean, that's still better than a code in a box, because at least with a game key card, if you sell it or trade it in or give it away to a friend, you know, they can still use it. It'll just download the game instead of it being on the cartridge. Weirdly enough, Indiana Jones port is a full Switch 2 physical. I mean, that's awesome. I'm glad that is. Yeah, it's really weird and inconsistent what does and does not get a game key card. Like, I understand, like, Final Fantasy VII Remake having a game key card, because the regular Switch game cartridges are 64 gig, or Switch 2 game cartridges are 64 gigabytes, and the game literally wouldn't fit on there. Wasn't expected to be jump scared by Indiana Jones. Honestly, like, the final announcement being a bunch of Bethesda's ports was such a limp, like, letdown. Triangulating my position. But I feel like almost all of the directs ever since the Switch 2 came out have all been, like, ports of other games. Which, again, I'm glad these games are on Nintendo. Indiana Jones is my childhood crush. Oh, that's so valid. Don't bully me for that. It's not a weird crush. No, I said that's so valid. I mean, Harrison Ford's really hot. And his character as Indiana Jones is just that wonderful combination of grizzled, vulnerable, and bastard. That's just like, that's super valid. And besides, unlike a lot of like those grizzled tough guys, he's also really smart, because, you know, he's a teacher and a professor and stuff like that. He would not stop exposing his chest like, sir, I am only 9. Final Fantasy VII and the one Star Wars games are the only ones to actually justify using key cards. Yeah. Because I know with the Star Wars game, they use it because the Switch's internal load speed's actually... The Switch 2 is internal load speed is faster than its card read and write speed. So in order to load the areas dynamically the way they want to do it, they needed it to be on the Switch's Switch 2's internal storage. I mean, actually, the Switch 1's internal storage is faster than its cartridge read-write speed as well. It's just not as significant of a jump. And no games really go out of their way to, like, do anything with that or take advantage of it, so it's not really that big of a deal. Ultra Ball! It's like 3 Ultra Balls I found just in this cave. Okay, I guess this room exists specifically for the free Ultra Ball and nothing else. But no, my mom really liked Indiana Jones also. She loved, like, the rollicking adventure stories and stuff like that, where you travel across the world. Like, she loved the Brendan Fraser Mummy, she loved the Tomb Raider games. She loved Uncharted. Love when room has only one ball. The Uniball room! I'm afraid to jump down anywhere because I'm afraid I'm going to have to loop back around to get back to where I am. Forgot about the Mummy. Dude, like, the sequels are okay, but the first Mummy movie is like borderline perfection. That movie is so good. Well, I say it's the first one, like there wasn't one from the 1930s, but the first Brendan Fraser Mummy. Oh, Evelyn! I'm sorry, I quote that movie like Mom and I would quote that constantly. Like, if it ain't my buddy Benny, I think I'll kill you right now. Also, somebody pointed out, I don't remember whom, but the Imhotep in the Brendan Fraser Mummy movie, like, he did that effect where his jaw would extend like a foot longer than normal so often and stuff, and like, it is unsettling in the movie, especially because it was one of the movies to have like really good convincing CGI like that. Like, it was known for its special effects when it was new. But you know, someone pointed out that, like, how is this movie not the source of 10,000 Wojaks? God fucking damn it, that's exactly what I thought was gonna happen. Well, let's go heal up, I guess. If nothing else, I'm getting some levels for Mellow Cream out of all this. Okay, I'm gonna have to do something I'm not really super fond of doing. I generally don't like using repels and stuff like that, but... Wait, shit, I went too far. And I've been streaming for over an hour and I haven't actually gotten anything done. Ugh. He's right. Nah. Ray's had it bad enough, we don't need to confuse him. Did I ever fight you? It's criminal time. Hi, Dot. Say hello to Dot. She's gonna headbutt the microphone. Heard roars from deep inside the islands. That's what I'm trying to find. A little time, and I'll make you mine. Oh. She has just pushed me all the way back into the chair. You see, I think one of the reasons that people get so irritated with Tentacool and Zubat is that, in Zubat's case, it's really fast, but the fact that they're both, like, very frequent, and they have Supersonic. Which makes just whomping them for, like, EXP fodder mildly annoying. Can you guys hear her purring? You baby butt. Well, she moved away from the mic now. Now she's just sprawled across my chest. Put the murder knives away while we're cuddling, please. Okay. Flash and save every one of us. Freebie? Freebie? Boink. Oh boy. Boink. Okay, wait, this is the Uniball room. Okay. Wait, is there really nowhere else to go but to hop down there? Oh my god. Okay, this takes me back to the ladder here. That's the Uniball room. Okay, so that's a big circle. You know, now that I think about it, it's been a really long time since I've done the Whirl Islands. Because I think in my 3DS Johto playthrough, or my 3DS playthrough of Crystal, which is probably the most recent one where I've gotten, like, far enough to get to Red, I don't think I ever went into this dungeon there. And in my, like, gold and silver on 3DS, I think I got the 8 badges and didn't finish doing Kanto, even though I wanted to. I don't know, that's just another one of those situations where, like, depression and executive dysfunction and everything just kind of curl up on you and make you stop doing something even though it's something you really want to do. Uniball room reminds me of this comment when I say, Xiaobu, this is a grown-ass man with a dick and ball. This might be a new stem. it's like I always love when like certain people are like, you know, he's my baby girl sopping wet kitten, and he's like a dude who's like 6'4" and made of pure muscle. It's me. Okay, so what I'm getting here is I think there's only one out of the Whirl Islands layout thingies that I can actually make progress in. The other ones seem to either lead to bonus steps or just go around in a circle. Dot is currently the eepiest, most comfortable cat to ever exist right now, apparently. She is just like sprawled right out on me. It's me, your local fox boy dummy. You were a ventriloquist this entire time? Oh, including dicks and balls to make it sound like it's meant to discourage us like... Girly, why do you think we thirst? But hi Cole, how are you doing on this lovely Thursday afternoon? I'm sorry, sometimes the read and write speeds in my brain are kind of slow. My brain has a lot of data compression. You know, you got beat up in a card game. Which card are you gaming? Is it more One Piece? Digimon. Okay. You know, interestingly, there was also a completely separate Digimon card game like in the late 90s. It had a pretty short lifespan, and it was pretty unorthodox, but I still have some cards left from it. Of course, I know the new Bandai... Does the new Bandai Digimon card game play like One Piece and Dragon Ball and the Naruto card games? Or does it actually do its own thing? I don't know, I went to here before, damn it. You know what? Okay. Do you remember the old Digimon game? I remember I had only really seen the anime, so the artwork for it, like, really was... I didn't dislike it or anything, it was really funky. Like, in comparison to the much cleaner and, like, brighter artwork for the anime. I do remember that the, for whatever reason, there was, like, a rules difference between the North American version of the card game and the, original Japanese release, where, like, the North American version would just let you do some ridiculous broken stuff, because there was, like, there's something I think was supposed to be once per turn in the Japanese version, and they just didn't include that rule. I'd have to look it up exactly what it was, but I know, like, it didn't last very long in America because I think the card game was, like, just super broken. Wizards of the Coast would do that a lot of times with the Pokemon cards, especially, like, in the Neo era, like, at the Gen 2 cards. It felt like, Wizards just completely stopped caring. Especially because, like, one of the most famous things with the, Neo Genesis set when it came out was Slowking had this ability where, like, whenever either player played a trainer card, they'd have to flip a coin, and if they flipped heads, it would play normally, but if you flipped tails, then you would have to put the trainer card in your discard pile without actually using its effect. And you may be thinking, oh gosh, that sounds miserable. Trainer cards are the main engines of how you get your play started. It was miserable. You see, the thing is, in the Japanese release, Slowking had to be in the active position to use that ability. And this was never errated. And gameplay was enforced as the card was written, not as its design was intended. Because the thing is, it having to be in the active position, and I think it only had like 80 or 90 HP. Its attack wasn't really very good. It was like 2 psychic energy and it didn't do a lot of damage. So, like, in the Japanese version of the card game, it was a decent but not amazing card. But it completely warped gameplay to the point where it had to be banned. Because the misprint, and they refused to fix it or reinforce it. And a lot of people started noticing, and there started being a lot of negative feedback towards Wizards, kind of noticing that they didn't really seem to care very much, because, you know, like I said, with the long lead time between the Japanese and international releases of the Pokemon card game, a lot of people had imported the cards and looked up guides on, like, you know, how to play them and stuff. So they already knew what the Japanese cards were supposed to do. Okay, so I'm in the upper right cave right now. I got the Cerebi page open because I'm tired of spinning in circles. Okay, so if I'm in the upper right, do I need to go to the upper left cave to get anywhere? Wait. Yo, are we actually making some progress? Arg, I have freaking shafted myself with this. Apparently Seal is only available in the morning and daytime. So I thought it was super weird I hadn't run into a Seal by now. Ugh. I guess we're gonna have to come back here sometime and get a Seal, maybe next time I play during the day. Of course, I've been thinking about maybe sometimes when I have, like, my day off and stuff, and I'm not gonna go out to do anything, just doing, like, an early afternoon stream, maybe around lunchtime, and then coming back and doing, like, a different game at night. Like I said, if I feel up to it. Ball. Max survive. We're maxing and relaxing all cool. Horsey! Stares at you, OO. Nightshade. I don't know why, but I always really love the effect of, like, the 3D rings for some stuff like Hypnosis and Supersonic in this game. I know they're not 3D, but, like, the way that they're layered. Lure ball. I know it's not hooked by a fishing rod, but close enough. I thought they said horsey slap for a second. They're like, buy me dinner first. Newly added to the Pokedex. When they're in a safe location, they can be seen playfully tangling their tails together. I don't know, maybe you weren't that far off, Guru. Playfully tangling their tail together. Jintu's one of my favorite attack animations. It really does. Now what should we name this fella? Psychic hasn't looked better before or since. I do love that in the games from Gen 6 onward, Impreg, well, that doesn't really go along with our naming scheme, because everybody's named after, like, snacks and stuff. But I do love that from, like, Gen 6 onward, like, Psychic and Hyper Beam have had their, like, 8-bit sound effects. Sorry, we'll save it for another horsey another day. Thought it'd go great with being a seahorse. No, I know, it's good. It's a good nickname. Poofy. Apparently those are marshmallow lollipops called Poofy Pops. Okay, we'll go with that. He shall be Poofy. Okay, let's look around a little bit. There are 2 balls up there and I want to grab them. Whoa, it's a huge waterfall. I don't know if I've ever seen that text before. Like from the top of a waterfall. You and me, sis. You and me. Cave? It's time, you guys. We actually got to Lugia. Let's go. Yes! No using an attack, let me hypnosis you. Uh-oh. Oops. Always love that card. No, it's so epic. It fits Lugia so perfectly. Give him a Thunderbolt! Also, Lieutenant Strange in that episode is voiced by Maddie Blaustein, same voice actress who does Meowth. And also, Yugi's grandpa. Okay, locked on with the Thunder Wave. Balls time! Let's do the heavies. Also, one thing that always irritated me from Gen 3 onward was like, in Gen 2, each one had their own special version exclusive legendaries or whatever. But you could catch both of them, it's just that, you'd get yours before you beat the game and the other one would be like in post-game. And it always irritated me that, well, shit, I didn't expect that to go so well. Thanks, Kurt. It has an incredible ability to calm raging storms. It is said that Lugia appears when storms start. Yeah, like that, I did not expect it to go that fast. Oh, not gonna horse a look in the mouth gift. Okay, wake up, Malakim. Drink some lemonade. Give some to Musketeers, too. I'm sure 3 magnets bonded together love lemonade. The one tiny little thing is, I don't think... Okay. The way that the levels go, in, like, silver, you'll get your Lugia with Aero Blast, and in gold, you'll get your Ho-Oh with Sacred Fire. But, by the time, like, they're at level 70 in the post-game, so in the, like, the version that you didn't choose, your box starter won't have, the one that's not your box starter won't have its special move. But I think in Crystal, neither of them has their special move. Ah, I know where I am, and I don't want to jump down yet. Okay. I really want to get those 2 items. It's gonna drive me crazy if I don't. Yet another reason to keep Stadium 2 around. Yep, because when you finish the Gym Leader Castle in Stadium 2, it basically lets you move tutor one of your Pokemon's forgotten moves. Okay, this is the Lugia Cave. So if you got Stadium 2, you can actually get this special move for any of those Pokemon if you have them on your team when you finish the Gym Leader Castle. That waterfall animation just does not look finished to me. Okay, so that's got a ladder, so that means we need to go on the floor underneath. taunting me. You know what? I'm not gonna worry about it. As much as I do want to get those other 2 items, I'm gonna have to come back here for Seal anyway. Now we can go do our berries. Alrighty, let's do some moving around. Yeah, it's got Gusts Recover, Hydro Pump, and Rain Dance, so I would actually need to run it through the Move Restorer in Stadium 2 to get it with Aero Blast if I wanted that. Okay, Norimaki. And Circus Peanut, thank you both so much for your assistance. Musketeers, why don't you take a little break, because you've been hanging out on the team for a good while. Let's get Jelly Belly in there as our main backup. Alrighty, let's back to training Skittle. And actually Poofy, because we're gonna need Sieja. Let's grab Pecan real quick.
Hello, it's me, Alan. I've studied quite a bit since then. I've gotten a lot better. And I'm hanging out on Route 36. Why don't you come down for a battle? I'll see you later.
Okay. Let's go and give the experience share to Skittle. Do a little item managing real quick before we go battle Alan. Store the Max Revive, store the Full Restore, store the Wit Apricorn, and the Calcium. After like a bunch of streams of grinding, I hope you guys enjoyed going on a little adventure, even if it was mostly me getting lost in caves for an hour. Like I said, I really was expecting the Lugia battle to be like way longer with a bazillion soft resets. I was like, oh yeah, second Pokeball. No, honestly, it's like... It's weird that it took this long, but I'm so glad that with, like, modern Pokemon games, if there was a move you wanted to use that you deleted, like... Because in Gen 8, there's someone at the Pokemon Center who will just do the move tutor thing for free for any of your old moves. You didn't even need, like, heart scales or anything. And, like, in, like, from Legends Arceus onward, you just go into the menu and you just choose to rearrange your moves. Which, like, that is so amazing. Because I remember the Game Grumps doing their Fire Red stream, and Dan and Aaron were talking, and Aaron wasn't paying attention, and ended up, like, overriding Flamethrower with, like, some kind of mediocre move that he didn't really want that much.
Waited around for you. I'm thoroughly prepared today.
That is one top quality back sprite. Oh, that is super painful, yeah. Like, I have literally reset mid-gameplay doing something like that by accident. Eat. Feel the power of concentric circles. Oh no, future sight. And that's the thing, like, future sight, I think they changed it in Generation 8, but in, like, most of the classic games, Future Sight did typeless damage, and it, like, had a base power of, like, 70 or something. A friend of mine used to call the back sprites rear ends, didn't understand why it was hilarious. I mean, for some of the back sprites it is. It feels awkward telling people I semi-enjoy watching Game Grumps, because there are some people who like to list their controversies, and it's like, I mean, yeah, but I don't think any of aside from JonTron being who he is, I don't really think that any of their controversies have been that crazy. It's like, oh my gosh, I can't believe Danny Sexbang of Ninja Sex Party, who sings songs about having crazy sexual exploits, has in fact had crazy sexual exploits. I don't believe it. Growl. It has always weirded me out, Nidoran female learning Scratch and Growl. No, Game Grumps is fine. A lot of, like, people grew up on Game Grumps, and it's honestly kind of crazy to me that they're still doing it. Because, like, in my head, I always feel like, you know, John leaving Game Grumps was, like, halfway through the run, and no, John left Game Grumps after 1 year, and so Dan has been the co-host for 13.
Oops, computation error?
Skittle time! I'm so sorry, I only got to see a back sprite for one battle, Skittle. It's like, compared to the controversies some other online people have had, like, it's like, oh, they can be a little rude sometimes, oh, Dan's had lots of sex, like, if they weren't online people, then, like, I don't think anybody would care. I enjoyed John. Oh, yeah, I definitely enjoyed Dan a lot more than JonTron as the co-host. Even though I regret to inform that John's Game Grumps run has irreparably damaged the way I pronounced Aaron, the name. Like, every time I see the name under my breath, I'm like, Aaron. Okay. So with this queen, we have a mission. She is getting to level 23 and no higher. No, like, the thing with the John Aaron dynamic is they were both kind of crazy, but now it's like Dan's chill and Aaron's crazy, so they play off each other really well. It's a good balance, yeah. It's just crazy to me because, like, Let's Plays are being held up entirely by, like, 3 or 4 channels. It's like Game Grumps, Chugga Conroy, and, like Nintendo Capri Sun, and I think, like, Proton John, or Claire, since she transitioned recently. Well, I say recently with a giant asterisk because, well, she still does go by Proton John for, like, marketing reasons because she's been doing it so long. But, like, she had actually mostly medically transitioned for, like, 2 or 3 years before she told her audience. I didn't mean, like, mean energy John and Aaron had. I know it's common in the game community, but it's never my thing. So Dan's chill vibe was great, yeah. Didn't know that, good for her. Well, the thing is, like, she kept it hidden for, like, 2 years. Because, you know, she would get to her, you know, whenever she'd do, like, her recording and stuff, she'd just, you know, switch back to the boy voice. Like, down to him, like, yeah, Space Quest and stuff, it was always really fun, because, like, Dan wasn't, like, the big gamer. So whenever he got to play a game from his childhood and reminisce about it, it was always really nice. I do kind of miss when, like, Let's Plays were kind of, like, one of the big things you tuned into YouTube for. But I feel like, you know, it's mostly been replaced by Twitch streams. Because streaming, like, it was on the map and stuff, but it wasn't really a big or popular thing people did much back in, like, the early to mid 2010s. Because honestly, I feel like the big explosion in popularity in, like the combination of Pokemon Nuzlocke and then Minecraft and Fortnite, like, really exploded into streams becoming, like, a big popular thing, which, hey, I'm not complaining, here I am. I mean, streams are still popular before that, but, like, that's when I kind of, when watching live streams kind of started to become a mainstream normal thing to watch. And then VTubing happened at the beginning of the 2020s, and that was... that was that. I feel like Twitch plays Pokemon as an... oh yeah, that was definitely a big one, too. Yeah, VTubing wasn't a thing for you guys until 2020. I know it was like a little bit of a thing in Japan. I know there's like Kizuna Ai and some other stuff like that. I remember the first time I ever heard about it was in 2019, but I know it had been around in Japan before that. But it really didn't kind of become like a mainstream thing in America until like 2020. Oh boy, a Friday night off school. Mom's grabbing me a pizza and I'm gonna watch Sugar Conroy New Fire and Leaf Cream. You know what? Okay, never mind, Cole. I'm turning the stream off. Let's all just go do that. Let's all watch a Chugga Conroy Let's Play together, and then we're gonna play some Kingdom Hearts. That sounds actually fucking amazing. I want to do that instead of whatever my life is now. That's not true. I love being here with you guys. It's one of the best parts. As much as I may joke about, ooh, I wish I could go back in time, or ooh, I wish I could have what this person has, it's like, if it wasn't now, and I wasn't me, I wouldn't be able to do this. And streaming and stuff makes me really happy, so. Decan power! They call me Kamen Rider in nostalgia the way I kick nostalgia to you. Speaking of, there's a game for the Nintendo DS just called Nostalgia that had people who work on like Lunar and Grandia work on it. And like, holy shit, this is one of my most wanted DS games. I've only ever seen one physical copy of it in existence. And online it's like $80. Can't remember enough of my teen years to go back to, so I like my current life right now. I have always been burdened with a really good memory, unfortunately, so at least a really good memory for the terrible stuff. Though I also have a second brain for, like, video game-related things. I have terrible luck with double kick. I can always only get it to hit 2 times. That was a joke. Pretty much how my brain works, yep. The squad. Berries. Didn't mean to bring the mood low. I can barely remember my middle school years. That's fine, that's nothing wrong with it. You didn't bring the mood down. I'm just 100% all over the place. My great memory remembers bad things, but I also remember Ecto Cooler High C. Ecto Cooler was bomb as fuck, dude. I know they brought it back not too long ago, but it didn't taste the same. Also, I'm pretty sure, you know, I'm nearing 40 and I probably don't need to drink a box of sugar. I know I don't really talk about age much or bring it up because I generally tend to look at everybody as equals, and I don't really think about age unless, like, you know, it's like, I say, oh, from the 90s, haha, and then, like, someone's like, I was not alive in the 90s. I'm like, oh, yeah. Because it's not something I ever think about, especially because time blindness gets me really bad. You know, I'll be thinking of this game that I've been wanting to play, and I'm like, I should get back to that playthrough. And, you know, it'll be on PS2 or something. And then I'm like, when did I play this? Was it like 2 months ago, 3 months ago? And then my save file will be like, you know, I last played it in like 2013. Even though it like still feels fresh in my mind. Well, I feel like time blindness and a good memory kind of tend to go hand in hand. Unless you're Kubi. Especially in the digital era, the concept of age, yeah, you don't really think about it that much. There's like under 18 and over 18, and pretty much besides that, it doesn't really ever occur. Like half the things you talk about, I wasn't even a sperm yet. That seems to be true for a lot of my audience, sadly. Well, not really sadly. There's nothing wrong with you guys being born at different times. I actually value the takes, opinions, and ideas of, especially with game stuff, of people a lot younger than me. Because it actually has gotten me to re-evaluate a lot of games and stuff that I kind of skimmed over or wrote off. Or a lot of stuff that I interacted with, but I just wasn't in a good headspace at the time or whatever. Someone else have nostalgia for it, and like them kind of like, it'll help me see the virtues and values of something I may have overlooked just because my perspective wasn't in the right place at the time. And honestly, I think a lot of generation gap stuff comes from a lot of younger people not feeling like their opinions, thoughts, and ideas are valued or respected by people older than them. And I feel like that's where a lot of the bitterness and the okay boomer kind of stuff comes from. It is amazing how many things you can learn and how many doors you can open just by treating other people with respect by the default. That's why I've always kind of disliked the term, oh, you've earned my respect. I'm like, no, respect isn't something you earn. Respect is something you give to everybody as the default state, and it's something you lose if you decide to be an asshat. Thinking. I hate the millennials saying Gen Z doesn't know empathy when a majority of us grew up on media showing characters crying and expressing self-care. Like, Steven Universe is a staple for most of us. Considering I have a large amount of Gen Z friends, I have no idea where that idea comes from. I mean, I've met some Gen Z age group people who definitely don't really seem to have much empathy, but like, that's not the norm. No, like, a lot of Gen Z people have been some of the most empathetic, stand up for their rights in the face against the odds kind of people that I've ever seen. Sorry, stand up for what's right in the face of all odds. But it's just like any other generation of people, like, no blanket statement's going to be true. And there's certainly no universal cultural experience, especially now with the internet. Because like I mentioned before, how like, you know, almost every one of the decades of the, 20th century kind of had its own like vibe and identity. But after like the 90s, every decade from 2000 onward has kind of been the 90s, but like it had a lot of 90s DNA, but just like with variants depending on like cultural shifts and stuff. But I think a lot of that's because like that coincides with the advent of the internet becoming like a main staple part of people's lives. And the more the internet's available, the more you can go into your niche of the thing you like. So that means there's less of a shared cultural experience. So I think that's why people harken back to stuff like Pokemon and Back to the Future and Ghostbusters, because, at the time when those came out, basically everybody knew Star Wars, everybody knew Ghostbusters, everybody knew Back to the Future. Because I remember a lot of early Let's Play videos, if they were like Mario or Pokemon, they wouldn't even explain the gameplay or game design because they just like, well, everybody knows Mario, everybody knows Pokemon. So say I met people who are apathetic. Yeah, like you said, that's the same for any generation. I remember Gen X wasn't afraid to show us upsetting things, so us not being empathetic is kind of odd. It's like, I think a lot of people forget that the media that's made with the intent of a younger generation isn't made by that younger generation. And I honestly, like, want to give a loving shout out to a lot of the Gen Xers out there who made stuff to make us wary of terrible corporations, to make us think about our impact on the environment, to make us more empathetic and realize that people have different backgrounds and stuff than us. Skittle is leveling up fast. Yeah, we need to get her to exactly level 23. I guess we could get her to 22. Double check the moveset real quick. Yeah, at level 23, Nidoqueen, not Nidorina, Nidoqueen learns Body Slam. And I definitely want that move. Yeah, this is definitely one of those times when not being able to get like a move tutor and learn older moves gets to be a pain. Because Nidorina learns Bite at level 36, and I would actually like to have Bite. It's cool to have a Dark-type move, but Body Slam's probably better. And without Pokemon Stadium 2 to play it with, I couldn't get both, so... Also, I think I've mentioned this before, but with Pokemon Stadium 2, it actually came out before Pokemon Crystal. And also, Guru, to specify so you don't get confused, I'm saying Pokemon Stadium 2, I'm talking about Pokemon Stadium Gold and Silver, because I know there's a weird naming discrepancy because the original Pokemon Stadium game never released outside Japan. But with Pokemon Stadium 2, it would actually show stuff for like Gold and Silver. In like, you know, I mentioned before it's got like the built-in strategy guide and all that stuff. But, it actually does have data built in for everything in Crystal, but it won't actually show it to you until it interacts with a Crystal cartridge at least one time. But after that, it'll show like the learn sets and egg moves and everything for Crystal as well. But an interesting thing is, like, I've showed you guys that there's the one move tutor where you can trade 4,000 of the casino coins for Thunderbolt, Flamethrower, or Ice Beam, but that's not available in Gold and Silver. Because I distinctly remember playing through one of the Gym Leader castles in Stadium 2 before Crystal came out. and like pointing at the screen angrily when my opponent's Rapidash learned Flamethrower, because there wasn't a Flamethrower TM. There's no way for Rapidash to learn that. But of course, you know, in Crystal there is, because you can just get Flamethrower from the dude over at the casino. Or the game corner. And like that sticks out to me, that memory sticks out to me so vividly, and I'm like, I remember being like, what? Nuh-uh. When NPCs do so much cheating. Well, I guess this one NPC in particular just happened to have a copy of Crystal before the rest of us. I just thought it was interesting that, like, even though the game came out before Crystal, like I said, all the information for Crystal is in there, but also some NPCs had movesets that could only be from Crystal. Though I think most cheating NPCs in the games just happen to be oversights, like the famous lantern with Earthquake. Lance having Dragonites before they can evolve. Oh, actually, I saw a really cool, like, theory about that on a video about, like, Lance and the Dragonites and everything. It's like, okay, you know how when you, do the little quiz and stuff in the Dragon's Den in here, in Crystal, you can get the Dratini with extreme speed, which it can't normally learn. And so somebody posited the theory that, like, the levels and stuff that Pokemon can evolve are the general levels, kind of like to have a general height and weight, which in later games, you know, Pokemon can, like, be different on that, you know, from basically Let's Go onward. You know, they can be bigger or smaller, because, you know, there's alphas and stuff like that. And there are plenty of wild Pokemon you can encounter in the games that have lower levels than what you could evolve them at. So somebody posited the theory that the reason why Lance's Dragonites and some of his other Pokemon have moves or evolution levels that are abnormal is because he's a dragon specialist, and he knows ways of training and raising his Pokemon that the player wouldn't know. So the Dragonite, like the Dragonairs, may have just evolved early just because there are different training methods in universe. Like I said, it's never been, like, hard confirmed, but it makes a lot of sense. Alright, Skittle, it's time. Become the queen we've always known you are. The criminal returns. Rat. Criminal, yeah, she's sitting right beside the microphone. She's sneezing because she went into the bathroom, and when she's been drinking her water, she's been shoving her entire face in the water bowl. And so she's, like, snorting water. Would recontextualize Lance's involvement in the Lake of Rage subplot too, right? Because he is, like, unusually, uncharacteristically upset about, because, you know, every other time you see him, he's super chill, but the Lake of Rage thing has him going off to the point where he's attacking people. Also, in my silver playthrough I did on 3DS, which I need to get back to so I can finish up the post game. I actually used a Nidoqueen on that team, and it was really fun because I'd never used any of the Nidoran evolution lines before. Haha! Dot, honey, it's your water. No one's gonna take it from you. Chill. Well, she was an outside cat for most of her life, so it took her a while to kind of get used to the idea that she could just leave her food and there'd still be food in the bowl when she comes back. Like I said, she's a lot better about it now, but it did take her a little while to kind of figure it out. But yeah, especially in Gen 2, Nidoking and Nidoqueen are so freaking good. But yeah, my team for my silver playthrough, because I wanted to do kind of a weird team of Pokemon that I had never used before. It's been a while. I'm trying to remember all the ones off the top of my head. I think the only repeat Pokemon that I used was Fearow. But other than that, I also had Weepinbell, Nidoqueen, Hypno, and Stantler. And Lantern was the other one, yeah. And yeah, I said Weepinbell. I just... There was no Leaf Stone, but I wanted to use Weepinbell for the whole game, so I did. Yeah, Hypno is another one that's just, like, absolutely fantastic, especially since it can learn all the elemental punches. You right up on the microphone. Is there something you want to say to the audience, Dot? She doesn't really meow a lot. Mostly she'll only meow at me if she's out of water, out of food, or needs me to clean out the litter box. Meow. Let's go body slam. Goodbye, tackle. You got too much water up your nose again. Come on and slam. That's your Dot. Little schnitzel bite. Also, I would say I think Nidoqueen has a really good back sprite in this game, too. A good rear end. Alright, Skittle, let's go ahead and move you over. Ow, 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 claws in my titty. She is biscuiting me. Okay, because these are going to be like the long haul evolutions for the most part. We got 55, 55, and then 50 to get Shelder to learn Ice Beam. EP is claiming we got work in the morning. Good night, Goobers. Night Rain, thank you so much for dropping by. Always appreciate you being here. Bye. I hope you have a really EP, comfy, restful sleep. I'm gonna check Nidoking real quick. Maybe? No. Let's just go and do Larvitar for now. Alright. Also, for anyone wondering, Larvitar is named after the candy bar whatchamacallits. Which are really good, but I hardly ever see him around. He also had a really memorable commercial in the 90s. Bite, Leer, Sandstorm, and Screech. Yeah, you can actually see the different level up groups in action, because she's at level 20 with 10,000 EXP, while he's over here at level 20 with only 8,000. Because Pokemon actually go into a handful of different level up groups. I've actually heard that one before. Never actually had that one before. It's really good. It's kind of got like a kind of a peanut butter-ish kind of flavor, but it's not overpowering like a Reese's or something. But it also has like caramel and they're kind of like Rice Krispies, but they're a different thing, so it doesn't taste exactly like a Rice Krispie, chocolate-covered Rice Krispie or anything, but it's good. It's much more airy than a regular Rice Krispie treat would be, like, off the shelf.
Mots, good evening. It's me, Gavin. How you doing? Let's battle. I'll be waiting on Route 26. Give me a shout when you're close. Okay, I'll talk to you soon.
Hi, Cyber Bunny Mecha. Welcome in. First time chat. My name's Mots the Gaming Mouse, aka Mikea. Play lots of retro RPGs, Metroidvanias, platformers, and a whole lot more. If that sounds good to you, you can grab a controller, sit down in front of the big old CRT TV, and we can enjoy our favorite games together. Cool Pokemon. Yeah, I'm playing some Pokemon Crystal. We've already gotten all 16 of the badges, and we've done everything except Fight Red. Well, most everything. Right now, I'm focusing on filling up the Pokédex. And I'm doing it the slow, old-fashioned way by trying to raise each Pokemon individual. It's not a Nuzlocke, challenge run, or anything crazy like that. I'm just playing some normal old Pokemon Crystal. Been playing Crystal this week, maybe we can trade. I have a link cable. It'd have to be a pretty long link cable. But how far are you on Crystal? What's your team looking like, Cyber Bunny? Yeah, like I was mentioning before, like, Pokemon have, like, different level up groups. Because, like, usually, like, the, let's say Pokemon whose stats top out at, like, a lower level, like, Beedrill or Butterfree, usually need under 1 million experience to evolve. Most Pokemon need around 1 million total, like, not evolve, but to get to level 100. And I think off the top of my head, most of the slow level up ones need, like, 1,250,000. But those numbers may not be exact, I'm just kind of going from the top of my head. But I know there's also, like, erratic level up groups where their amount isn't exactly consistent with the fast or slow. So different levels can come quicker or slower for those Pokemon.
Hi, I've been waiting for you. This time, I'm gonna win.
Kill Trainer Gaven with Victreebel. Oh darn it, I forgot to give the experience share to Poofy. I have all 3 starters and a brown-red crested bird. And a tadpole and an onyx. Cool. Did you get the trade onyx from the one named Rocky from the first town? And were you trading with yourself to get the starters, or did you just do, like, the save reset glitch? Or if you kind of reset the game on the exact frame that it's, like, starting to write the save. He's Rocky. He's so Balboa. Traded with my gold and my silver. Okay, cool. You actually playing it on the original hardware? Is it the Game Boy cartridges, or are you doing it on the 3DS version?
Yeah, life is even tougher.
Y'all went to beat and get Mysterious Gift, and then you got a tram for Stadium 2. Nice, nice. Yeah, I love Pokemon Stadium 2. It is such a joy to play. Many teams, yes, Stadium 2 is hard and difficult. Especially because the rentals are, like, way weaker than they are in Stadium 1. Yeah, I'm something of a red-crested brown bird fan myself. I got Max Taste, my hero. There's the baby cub, gotta be hatched at level 5. Yep, that'll put your breeding skills to the test, making sure you can get them born with all the TMs and egg moves that you want.
We'll soon depart for Goldenrod. Are you coming on board? May I see your rail pass, please? Alright, right this way.
Oh, it's time for hopping up and down on the magnet chain. Hopping up and down on the magnet chain.
You've arrived in Goldenrod. We hope to see you again.
Playing physical, bought a lot of hardware. I guess you had the cartridge batteries replaced recently in your Game Boy games then? Because I know with Gold, Silver, and Crystal, the batteries really don't last as long as they do in like a normal Game Boy game. You know, because it uses the battery to power the crystal oscillator so it can still have that real-time clock. So I am very glad that, like, with Ruby and Sapphire, the real-time clock was put on a separate battery, and the save data was just, like, written in flash memory. But yeah, don't forget, if you got Stadium 2, even if you haven't finished the game, you can still go ahead and do a daily mystery gift every day with, the mystery gift girl. It's actually an option on Stadium 2's, like, main menu screen. There are even a few exclusive things you can get from there, too. No, let's let Mellow Theme handle this. Training up Mellow Theme because he's going to be my Entei catcher. Because Suicune, since it's Crystal, you know, with Suicune, you can just get them from just regular story stuff. And I went ahead and just used the Master Ball on Raikou. So Entei is the only one I'll have to chase down. Oh wait, I gotta get my egg back out. It's funny because the 2 times I've ran into Entei recently have been when I was leveling up my Rattata, so I managed to get like 2 hits on it with Quick Attack. But it's like every single time I run into it is never when I have one of my stronger teammates to do any real damage to it or anything. It is always when I freaking have, okay, let's go ahead and move Pecan over. Oh no, I don't remember what egg it is. I guess we ball, and we'll just find out. 2 Game Boy Colors, 2 cables, cause funny. Lots of cell batteries. Apparently the last 5 to 10 years. Yeah. Mine were rebatteried 5 to 10 years ago, not sure, maybe less. Well, I mean, I've had my Crystal, lots of original hardware, good stuff. Oh, very good stuff. That always makes me happy to hear. But my Crystal last time lasted me about 13 years, so it's not like a hard and fast rule. A lot of it depends on the quality of the battery. Because I've still got like original Super NES games, like I mentioned it offhandedly, I think on Rain's stream, but like I was just kind of like working with my Super Nintendo and checking some stuff. Because I always go through and just, like, recheck some of my hardware every couple months, at least, if I haven't been actively playing it. And, like, I have, like, an original copy of Secret of Mana, and it still has save data from, like, the early 90s. And, like, my Pokemon Red, Blue, and Yellow cartridges all still have their save data, no problem. So a lot of those batteries, they can last 30, 40 years. It's just like I said, with Gold, Silver, and Crystal, having to run that real-time clock all the time just sucks it down real fast. Okay, so that was one of my Delibird eggs. Put batteries in all 3, but left them, like, unused except Crystal. So that, like, I made a little save on it and it's just been sitting there. Actually, I do wonder if the batteries don't drain if you haven't started your save file yet. Or, you know, don't drain, like, as fast. Because, like, you don't put in the real-time clock stuff until you start your save file. So I wonder if it's not bothering to run the crystal oscillator until you've started the save file, which that would make sense. That way if it needed to sit on store shelves and stuff. But like I said, something I'd have to look into. I don't know for sure. I'm going to cry. Because I was hatching these Delibirds because I wanted to breed Pichu with Present. And I got 4 female Delibirds in a row, and I just gave up and tried to go catch a wild male one, which is what I ended up doing. And that one egg that was close to hatching apparently had a male Delibird in it. I'm going to scream. I literally feel like that one meme of, like, the person who's, like, an inch away from the diamonds and walks away with his pickaxe. Yeah, it's one of Peachy's egg moves. I mean, I can just show you. Give me a sec. There are lots of cool egg moves. A few of them are Crystal exclusive. Like, exclusively in Crystal, Fampy can learn Water Gun as an egg move. Let's see, should be down through here somewhere. That's the party. I think it's Julius. Yep. He was born with Present, because his daddy is a Delibird. Because I don't think Fampy can get Water Gun as an egg move in any other game. Not just, like, any other Gen 2 game. I don't think that carried over to any other game. I'm playing Gold, Silver, and Crystal for Stadium, but I'm, like, barely at Gym 2. I have backup batteries for the cards. Plan on buying a CB card reader to make backup saves just in case. Batteries die before then. It's a little annoying. No real biggie. Yeah, I gotcha. No, I definitely need to get myself a GB operator, because that's what 7th Force uses as well. If you actually weren't familiar, 7th Force in here does some really awesome YouTube content. He does, like, a bunch of stuff, like, with fighting games and Marvel vs. Capcom, like, character histories. So if you like, classic fighting games and Marvel vs. Capcom, go check him out. Yeah, you're getting shouted out, 7th. Sorry. Yeah, GB operators are surprisingly affordable. They're only like $50. I'm not obligated to show you. I show you because the stuff you make is awesome. I shill all my friends. That's just how I am. If Rain were still in here, I'd probably be shilling her because she's been doing some awesome Pokemon streams with Red, Blue, and Yellow. Okay, no, wait, that's fine. For this one, I have to go to moves. And I'm going to move Surf to the top spot. Sorry, I have to take a moment to pet my cat, Dot. I don't know if you guys can hear her purring. She's like right beside the mic. She is being a very snuggly little baby butt tonight. Just doing it for myself. I've owned Gold and Stadium since I'm aware of my own existence. We're picking up Silver and Crystal plus Robin Hood for dirt cheap. Used Game Boy games are nothing but clutter in stores. No, one of the luckiest things I ever did was just buy whatever game I was interested in as soon as it got dirt cheap. I mean, a lot of them are still dirt cheap, but like there are some, like, it is stupid how expensive Pokemon games are. Like, I don't personally think any game should be selling for over $100, even secondhand. But I can almost kind of sort of understand it with super low print run stuff because supply just literally can't meet the demand. But I mean, like, the lowest selling mainline Pokemon games sold over 6 million. You know, these games are not rare, they are not hard to come by. But I also do always appreciate the joy of, you know, going for some game you've always owned or some game that's been in your backlog for a while and just pulling it out and then just really enjoying yourself with it. Like, recently I had always wanted to play through Earthbound, and I actually finished it on the Nintendo Switch Online, I think it's been about a year and a half ago now. And it was just like, that was just a wonderful experience. Because I ended up finishing a bunch of games that, like, I'd always wanted to play through, like Tales of Grace's F I finished last year when the remaster came out. And before that I finished Link's Awakening DX and Minish Cap. A lot of these I do want to stream sometime in the near future. Because yeah, in addition to Crystal, I've also been, well, on stream we finished Castlevania Aria of Sorrow and Dawn of Sorrow, Mega Man 1 and 2, and I've been in the middle of stream, well, Mega Man 3, which I need to get back to. We've also been streaming Final Fantasy V Advance, Jak and Daxter. I did some Dark Cloud, Parasite Eve. Bringing Water Gun. Today, I really went platinum. It sells for $800. My grandma when the game was new. Here's an extra copy because I didn't know you already had it. Base grandma. Like, I have extra copies of Pokemon Sun just because, like, Walmart was just trying to clearance out their copies, and I'm like, hey, another Pokemon game cartridge means another playthrough. Because I also have 2 copies of Silver because, well, 2 copies of Silver and I have 2 copies of Red because I kid you not, the thrift store that I used to go to, and keep in mind, this was back in, like, 2008, 2009, they would have these bags of toys for $1. You know, just like random assorted toys. And one of the bags had a copy of Pokemon Red, just like the bare cartridge at the bottom. And I took it over to the counter and I'm like, hey, there's a video game in this. And they're like, oh yeah, we just put it with the toys. If you want to buy, if you want it, you can just buy the bag. And I'm like, okay. And I like bought the bag. I took out the copy of Pokemon Red. And then I just donated the rest of the toys back to the thrift store. Like, hey, you will not see horsing me a mouth in the gift. Wish I'd thought to do that. Plugging up the mainline Pokemon collection's so painful. It really is right now. I am so hoping that the used game market falls apart sometime soon. Or at the very least, the Pokemon used game market. Because it's really only been like that since COVID. I mean, in like the late 2010s, some of the games were like $30 or $40, like Emerald and Platinum, but like, I will pay $30 or $40 for a secondhand game. That's fine, if it's in good condition and everything. Like, because honestly, $70 is my reasonable price cutoff, because that's what a new game costs. And a lot of old games that I've played are just as worth full price as a new game is. Though one thing that always makes me, like, unreasonably irritated for some reason is when people are selling an old game secondhand for like $100-something, but they still have the original, like, GameStop price sticker on the front. Sometimes, way too often, the game won't even work. Yeah, also that. Because I remember one listing for Wild Arms 5, which is a game that's like $150. On the secondhand market, they still had a GameStop sticker for $17.99 on it. I pre-ordered Heart Gold on release, got Soul Silver later the same year because I love Gen 2. So surprised they're so sought after today. Why are they so hard? I purchased 2 Pokemon because I'm a nerd. Lost my OGs. Well, I think part of the reason they are so expensive is because it's really hard to get a complete in-box copy with the Pokewalker. Because, you know, a lot of kids took those Pokewalkers to school or to sports or the playgrounds and whatever. So I'm sure a lot of them got lost and destroyed. Wish I still had my Pokewalker. I still have both of mine, thankfully, but they both need fresh batteries. Still have and use mine, thankfully. Like I said, it wouldn't be that big of an issue if they weren't price gouged all to hell, you know. Used to be if you lost your Pokewalker, you just go onto eBay and buy another one for 15 bucks. Also, I guess you guys get a free random fact today, but the Pokewalker was reskinned and used as the Wii Fit pedometer for Wii Fit U. A little assistant in helping train your Wii to fit you. Of using them every day makes me feel nerdy and hip. It is pretty cool. Also, I guess you guys get another bonus Pokewalker fact. When it was released, after extensive testing, the Pokewalker was literally the most accurate commercially available pedometer on the market in 2010. It's getting a little cramped. I need one of those. A hip? I was gonna reach my phone and check Cerebi to see what level Horsey evolves. I'm pretty sure it's 28. But Dot is so cute and stretched out on my chest and my leg. I kind of don't want to disturb her right now. Maddie, beautiful, wonderful Maddie. Could you look up Horsey's evolution level for me, please? Maybe, perhaps, kind of, sort of, if you want to. Got a Pokemon Pikachu 2 GS to mystery gift with myself. Already on it, level 32. based Maddie W as usual. Pokemon Pikachu 2 GS Nestiget. Myself guaranteed to give you Miracle Berries to cure all status ailments. Need that for Stadium 2. Okay, I have a really weird story with me and the Pokemon Pikachu 2. I think I've told it on stream before. I know I've told Maddie before. But okay, so I had the Pokemon Pikachu 1, and I still own it. It's in my room, on a shelf. Though it needs a new battery, and the pedometer on it doesn't work anymore, so you can't really play it because you can't earn watts. But I have the Pokemon Pikachu 1. I carried it for years and years and years. Like, I wore that thing everywhere. It got lost multiple times. Somehow my mom always managed to find it. And I still have it. I never take it out of the house or anything like that anymore. But my mom bought a Pikachu 2 when it came out, and she actually bought it for herself because she liked Pokemon and she really liked Pikachu. It was like her favorite for a while. Got the mom metal detector gene. But, okay, now here's the weird thing. So, my mom had the Pikachu 2, she carried it for a while, and one day, not half, but like maybe a third of the screen just went blank. Like, the rest of the screen still functioned 100% normally, but a third of it was just like nothing. No LCD, nothing. It was just the blank background. And then, like, you know, I was going to take a look at it, so Mom put it on my work desk I had at the time. And so, one day when I was drawing at that desk, I accidentally hit it with my elbow and knocked it down. I did not hear it hit the floor. But I spent an hour and a half tearing up everything around my desk, like tearing through all my, my cabinets, just everything. That thing was gone. Okay? This was probably like 16 or 17 years ago, maybe more. No, wait, 16 years ago was 2010. Fucking. So yeah, this was almost 20 years ago at this point. Like 23 years ago, probably. But the thing is, when redoing all the furniture in the house, we eventually threw away that desk because it was falling apart. And even throwing away the desk, clearing out the entire area and having the floor completely, like, uncovered, no furniture, nothing, we never found it again. And my mom's like, okay, whenever you hit it with your elbow, you knocked it into just, like, it just apparated into another plane of existence. I really want to get one of those. Been trying to get all the neat connectivity accessories to Gen 1 and 2 I didn't have as a kid. That's awesome. You know, there's something magical about wanting something as a kid, and, like, you couldn't get it for whatever reason. You know, sometimes it's just rotating interest, sometimes it's money, it could be anything. So, like, just being able to go and get it and have it, just like that, it means so much. It really does. Gen GS2 is goated. Just place a fresh battery in it. Hell yeah. Yeah, I'm very happy that I still have, like, my Game Boy printer and a lot of that stuff. I don't know, there was something really cool and fun about the Game Boy and Game Boy Color's connectivity in the late 90s and early 2000s. Compared to the Pocket Pikachu 1 and 2 GS is amazing. Especially if yeah, no, it's crazy to jump between the two of them when they're really only a couple years difference. Like I said, I don't know what happened to that one specific one I got, because the thing is, it was never dropped in water, it wasn't dinged around or dropped or anything. You know, like, we took really good care of it, and then just suddenly, like, a quarter of the screen just stopped working one day. Yeah, like I said, I'm really happy I still have like my Game Boy printer and a lot of stuff like that. Because like so many of the little connectivity things for the Game Boy were just such fun, tactile, cool things. Like I loved the Game Boy camera. I have like 2 of them. Weirdly enough, neither of them are the original one I grew up with. That's one of those random things that just vanished when I moved house. But I managed to find 2 more at thrift stores for like dirt cheap. See, the Game Boy camera is so neat because it sounded like it would be this like really like, I don't know, kind of plain basic interface kind of thing. But no, like the Game Boy camera is developed by some people who worked on Earthbound, and also developed by some of the staff at Creatures who would work on Pokemon Generations 1 and 2. And oh boy, you can tell. Because the Game Boy camera is wild, weird, and... I mean, I like the word quirky, but I hate how it's colloquially come to describe anything even slightly outside of the boring normal. So I don't feel like quirky gets the point across the way it used to, but... like, it's almost become cliche at this point. Alrighty, we are getting there, Poofy. But yeah, the mystery gift's always one of the coolest things. Though with the battery issues that Gold, Silver, and Crystal can have, that does make me wish for one thing that, I think Robopawn is the game, but don't 100% quote me on that, because it might be another one. But I know there was another monster catching game, where, like, you could actually, with a screwdriver, manually pop off, because it had a part in the cartridge that was designed where you could just take out the save battery and replace it, like, yourself. It even came with instructions to do that. And, the thing is, it was actually designed to where you could pop it open and take the battery out while the game was running. That way you wouldn't lose your save data. And I'm like, why didn't every Game Boy Color game have that option? Pocket Pikachu's to sell for like 120 plus for loose, new box 600. Got mine for 90 because the battery door was missing a screw, but I found a screw to fit it. Yeah, I didn't figure they would be cheap or anything. Robopawn the one that lets you get new monsters with the TV remote? I think so. Like I said, that might not be the game that had the removable battery like that, but Robopawn had some pretty crazy stuff too. Of course, it was also fun in the Game Boy and GBA era. How many, like... Yeah, Shin Megami Tensei Devil Children's another one that had some cool stuff. No, I love how many Game Boy cartridges and stuff were just trying to do cool and weird and unique things. I remember seeing an ad for it in Nintendo Power and thinking it was so sick. I actually love stuff like with Robopon being able to interface with the TV remote, or Monster Rancher where you could like put in a CD and different albums would give you different monsters. Like, it kind of made it feel a little magical, like it was coming to life or something. Or rather, I'm sorry, like, I worded that wrong, but like, it felt like, you know, like the monster catching game was like a part of real life. Another cartridge that I've always thought was cool was Boktai. Well, both of the games, because they have like the solar sensor on top. There was also a third game in Japan, and Lunar Nights for the DS is actually Boktai 4. Also, I don't know if anybody ever put it together, but the localized names for the characters in Lunar Nights were Aaron and Lucian, which were not only the same names as the first and last Elite Four members from Pokemon Diamond and Pearl, but they actually had similar designs. Like, each Aaron and Lucian, respectively, looked really similar to one another. I think the games came out around the same time as well, so it's not like one of them copied from the other, it's just one of those weird things. Also, with Lunar Nights, if you have one of the Boktai games in your Game Boy Advance cartridge slot, it'll unlock a special item, and you can actually use the solar sensor from the cartridge slot in Lunar Nights as well.
Hello, it's me, Alan. Mots, are you raising your Pokemon properly? I read in a book that you should raise any Pokemon you catch with love and care. By the way, we knocked out a wild Hoothoot just the other day. Studying up in advance worked. See you later.
So I think I'm probably going to get Poofy to a Seadra and then probably call the stream from there, because it is getting late and I am getting real hungry. Wish more DS games use the GBA slot. There was so much cool stuff, because with like the DS Pokemon games, almost all of, well, I don't know about Diamond and Pearl, but I know with Platinum, Heart Gold, and Soul Silver, there were exclusive Pokemon that would show up depending on what game you had in what cartridge slot. Like, I know with Platinum, you could get Elekid to show up if you had, like, Fire Red in the cartridge slot, for example. And, like, Pokemon that wouldn't normally spawn in certain areas would be available if you had, like, one of the Game Boy Advance Pokemon games in a cartridge slot. I guess more other cool things. Drill Dozer actually has a built-in Rumble Pack in the cartridge. Worked in Diamond and Pearl, yeah, okay. I can never remember which things were platinum only, like which bonus features and extra stuff was platinum only and which one worked in all of them. But yeah, Drill Dozer, which was actually developed by Game Freak, has a rumble pack in the cartridge. And Drill Dozer is one of a very small handful of games that is designed with Game Boy player compatibility in mind. Specifically, with Drill Dozer, if you play it on the GameCube's Game Boy player, instead of the rumble being in the cartridge, it'll actually make the GameCube controller rumble. It'll also change the, I may be remembering this incorrectly, but I'm pretty sure it'll change the A and B button prompts on the menus to look like the GameCube controller buttons instead of the GBA ones. But I know for a fact it will make your controller, the GameCube controller, rumble with that rumble support. Delicate Magnutes specifically holding their Trade Evo items. Mario Advance 4 is another one, yeah. And also, Pokemon Pinball Ruby and Sapphire will also do the controller rumble feature as well. Which I always thought that was really cool that they added that extra stuff for Game Boy player compatibility. So my two Pokewalkers, PPGS2, Pokemon Go Plus, Pokeball Plus, my children. Also, a great thing with a Game Boy player is it circumvented the whole need to have two GBAs to do stuff like trade Pokemon with yourself or use the e-reader. Because you could just, you know, have one cartridge in your GBA, have the other one on your Game Boy player on the TV, and just hook up the link cable. I honestly think it was super freaking awesome that the Game Boy player just has, like, 100% full support for everything the Game Boy Advance can do. Because I don't know if anybody remembers the wireless communication devices that came with Fire Red and Leaf Green that were also compatible with Emerald. Because, like, I distinctly remember playing Fire Red on my Game Boy player with the wireless thing hooked up to the Game Boy player's, like, link cable spot and everything. And sitting there with Leaf Green, trading a Pokemon with myself wirelessly between the TV and my Game Boy Advance, and I just thought it was like the coolest freaking thing of all time. I think one other non-Pokemon game used the wireless adapter, but I don't remember what it is. It might have been a Japan-only thing. What level are you at right now? Because actually, 7th, I know you were using Swiss to use, like, Game Boy interface instead of having to use the Game Boy Player disc, but I was actually really curious. With the Game Boy interface, will it still activate stuff like Drill Dozer's rumble support in the controller, or does it actually have to read the Game Boy Player software? Then again, I suppose Game Boy interface would probably be designed with it in mind to still tell the game that it's the Game Boy Player software, but just one of those things that popped into my head. Have my wireless adapter, never had the chance to use it. It's after just like a wireless link cable, mostly sold for and with Fire Red, Leaf Green, Ink specifically. They did actually sell them separately. And the, okay, Fire Red and Leaf Green are the only Pokemon games ever to get, like, a Player's Choice reprint. Because the original releases of Fire Red and Leaf Green were I think they were $29.99 with the wireless adapter. And the Player's Choice re-releases were $20, which every other Player's Choice game was as well. But I'm pretty sure the Player's Choice re-releases did not come with a wireless adapter. Though you could still use a regular wired link cable with Fire Red and Leaf Green if you wanted to. And you could also, that's how they would trade with Ruby and Sapphire. Because Fire Red, Leaf Green, and Emerald were compatible with a wireless adapter, but Ruby and Sapphire weren't. So personally, I think wireless handheld multiplayer was probably like one of the biggest and most important innovations for Pokemon. I believe that all Rumble functionality supported GBI, but I'd have to double check. It's not a huge deal, and like I said, it's just a random thing that crossed my mind. Actually, I do wonder if the Rumble functionality would work if you're emulating it. Probably have to tweak something in emulator settings to make sure it's turned on or whatever. And try to rock around that clock, you know it's poofy. It's poofy, 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 poofy. I always love Geodude's animation, like he just really wants you to get off of his lawn. MGBA allows it. Oh, nice. MGBA is so swanky. It's like so deluxe. It can do so much stuff. I want to kiss it. Also, I know this sounds weird, but you guys probably remember that I streamed the Dragon Quest VII Reimagined demo. And this may sound weird, but the demo not letting me use my mouse inputs while the game was running, for some reason, just kind of soured me on buying the game for a while. Yeah, because like when the game was running, it would not allow me to use mouse inputs for anything else, my second monitor, anything. I mean, I guess whenever I do buy it, I'm probably going to get a physical version for, like, PS5 or whatever. But I'm certainly not buying it on Steam because I can't stream it. I mean, I technically can, but it's a huge pain in the butt and I have to close the game to end the stream. But a part of me wants to kind of play the PlayStation 1 version sometime, because I do have it on 3DS. And, like, all three versions of the game are, like, really different games from each other. Like, they tell the same story at the core, but it's just, like... Because I know the PlayStation 1 version is pretty infamous in the way that, like... You know, it's, like, 10 or so hours of gameplay before you even see your first battle. Going PS5, I'd get it on Switch too if it was with the whole game key card situation. I mean, I played the demo of it on Switch 1, and it ran really good, and it was pretty clean on Switch 1, but I'm pretty sure there's also no upgrade path. So if you buy it on Switch 1, you're stuck with the Switch 1 version only. Like I said, I'll probably get it on PS5. It actually does continue Square's hot streak of letting you remap confirm to circle. So, oh. What game? Dragon Quest VII Reimagined. Sunkern! Square Enix, yeah. You know, Square Enix, they do like Final Fantasy and Nier Automata and Dragon Quest and The World Ends With You and Saga and Mana and all that stuff. What shall we name this little Sunkern? Skern arrive. Weird how they gave Dragon Quest 3 a Switch 2 update. They refuse for anything else. Yeah, it's really weird. Got Dragon Quest 1, 2, and 3 remake. Nice. I got the 3 remake, but I want to finish it before I buy the 1 and 2 collection. Nier Automata Dimension. Square Enix is best at Dragon Quest. We don't talk about the rest. I love almost every one of Square Enix's franchises, honestly. I am a very, very big RPG nerd. I forgot how the alphabet works. Jiffy P. Chrono Trigger is amazing. Chrono Trigger desperately needs to be on like Switch 1 and 2, PS4, PS5, and Xbox consoles, like in some form somehow. It is so weird to me that Chrono Trigger is like not available. It's like the only way to buy Chrono Trigger right now is to get the mobile version, like officially, just to get the mobile version Steam, which is this weird amalgamation of like the mobile version and the DS version. That it is a good version of Chrono Trigger, but it's been updated like 15 times and it was really rough when it first launched. But yeah, there's like Steam or mobile. And, like, if you have a PlayStation 3, you can still buy the PlayStation 1 version off the PlayStation Store for, like, $10. It's like, the PS1 is the way I first played Chrono Trigger. And I'm always torn between which one I should stream between the Super Nintendo and PS1 version, because, like, to me, I feel like Chrono Trigger's just not complete without the anime cutscenes. But of course they weren't there in the Super NES original, but the PS1 version's got some pretty nasty load times, not just between areas, but like just opening and closing the menu. PS1 version one's like, well, I mean, I didn't know any different because that's the first time I'd played Chrono Trigger, so that's just how Chrono Trigger was, and I liked it well enough. But I mean, it really just kind of, got Chrono Trigger on PC and Vita. Well, the Vita's the PS1 version. Yes, version's goated according to, I don't know who, netizens, like net citizens. It took me a second there, I apologize. Personally, I think the DS version's still a good version of Chrono Trigger. There's really not a bad way to play Chrono Trigger, but... Oh, that's how you know it runs like thick tar. I feel ya. I gotcha. But honestly, I don't dislike the DS version, but it would not be my first choice to play Chrono Trigger. Well, actually, that's going to bring me around to the fact that, like, I feel like there's not really a single definitive version of Chrono Trigger to point to. Because the Super NES version's not going to have the anime cutscenes. The PS1 version's going to have, like you said, the hot tar. The DS version just doesn't really feel right. I don't know how to explain it. And the PC version, like I said, is this weird mobile version, DS version amalgam that is a good game, but you don't really get the same menus and other stuff like that. I don't know, for me, I think that the menus are an important part of an RPG experience. Especially if that's Legend of Dragoon, because every time you're pausing the game, you get to freaking have a dance party. Yes, version's like $100. Like $100 to get depressed and have an intense existential crisis. I mean, hey, that's cheaper than most existential crises. Yeah, I mean, that makes Chrono Trigger not getting any kind of modern re-release even more obnoxious, because getting a Super NES or DS copy is ludicrously expensive. Got Chrono Cross for Switch, haven't played it, but I wonder how it runs on Switch too. Well, the thing is, with the updates, Chrono Cross actually runs at 60 FPS on everything but PC. The PC version's kind of broken still, and even the updates didn't fix it, but all the console versions of it run pretty great. They also fixed a bunch of bugs, even bugs that were in the PS1 version, like Pip. You can actually level them up and have it save their stats and progress properly. Because I know Pip's progression and evolutions were bugged in the PS1 original. I think they're called Pip. That's what I'm 100% chaotic neutral. That's okay, we service all alignments here. There were compatibility issues on Switch too, but they got it fixed recently. Nice. Hell yeah, love to hear that. Also, the Switch is the only version of Chrono Cross Radical Dreamers that got a physical release. Because I know Square Enix has been pretty good about cleaning up any compatibility issues that their Switch games had, because I know Nier Automata had a few issues when it first launched, but they fixed that up too.
Mott's, you still awake? It's me, Anthony the Hiker. The other day, I was watching my Geodude eat some berries, and it looked like it was enjoying its meal, so I decided to try some. Not sure if people should eat that stuff, but it was delicious. Lately, I've been running across wild Rattata quite often. They're easily taken care of. Alright then, be good.
It's funny that no matter how much they evolve their Pokemon, they still, like the phone calls still mention whatever Pokemon they originally had the first time you fought them. So I headcanon it to the fact that like with Anthony there, even though he has a Golem, he like doesn't get that his Geodude is a different Pokemon now. It just like it looks different. It's like, hey Geodude! It's picked up again in the mention of Automata. I'm gonna have to stream the Nier games sometime, I guess. Because I do have Replicant 1.25, I'm not gonna do the whole number. But I do have the Replicant Remaster, and I have Automata on Xbox, so... Now that I got the capture cards set up and working, I can stream those. You I'd be so annoying. Good. Come in here. Fangirl out. Be annoying. We love that here. It's like, trust me, if you guys don't find me annoying, then none of you have a chance to annoy, so. Sounds like a challenge. Maddie, if you haven't annoyed me after almost a decade and a half, that train has sailed, baby girl. Good to hear, because I feel bad whenever my obsessions come up and I get a little pushy about them. Oh, we love hearing you go crazy and be pushy. It's fun. We enjoy things here. This is a place where things are enjoyed. Did you call me? Well, no, because you're not annoying. Get hosed. Nah. She doing the eyelid, but that was exactly what I was going for, yes. Got away with the grabbly hands. Almost there, Poofy. Go, go, go. Being a butt. Yeah, just like Dot. The two of you would get along so well. I'll just be walking around the house, like, you know, cleaning off the dining room table or whatever, and then Dot will be like, right now is the perfect time for me to climb your ass. And I'm like, ow, claws in my butt. I'll be eating something and she'll do the little meerkat thing and stand up. And I'm like, I'll be like eating like pretzels or something, and I'm like, there's nothing here that you want, girl. And she's like, eh? Right now is the perfect time to fight me and any man who's taller than me. As one does. I am really glad I went ahead and decided to go ahead and do the Whirl Islands to get Lugia and stuff today, though. I've been putting it off for probably a lot longer than I should have. Good old-fashioned executive dysfunction and ADHD. Because I know we can't, I'm pretty sure we can't get Ho-Oh in Crystal until after we have Raikou, Entei, and Suicune. Also, I just noticed that Horsey's back sprite has exactly 1 pixel under its snout and mouth that is colored, like, outside the lines. Enjoy that cursed knowledge, everybody! Worth it to have gotten the sea chicken. Did you say ho-ho? Yeah. Well, okay, in the English version, Ho-Oh has a dash between its names, so it's like... I know in the Japanese pronunciation it's supposed to be a long O sound, and I think that's how they're trying to get it across. Because like I said, there really aren't long vowel sounds in English unless something's like stretched out. Thought you're putting a pause for ho. No, I'm actually trying to get the proper enunciation. Being a hoe is just a bonus. Poofy time! Poofy evolved into Seadra. I know it's supposed to be a curled up tail, but the, he's so spiky now. But the curled up tail from this angle looks like he's like a Sonic character with the legs all spinning. And he's just running really fast. Time to impregnate Poofy. I was about to say, this is my personality. Ho-Oh is my new word. You can still be a ho-oh. I mean, okay. O is one of the pronunciations for king. You can be the king of hoes. I believe in you. Doing the Sonic and Naruto run. How cultured. Sonic and Naruto at the Olympic hose. The Himedere laughs, so you just imagine going, oh ho 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 ho. Oh, serpent cat. I mean, it's literally a rainbow bird. What did you expect? Oh wait, shit, I need to go... You know what? No, I'm going to just end the stream now. I'm very tired and hungry. We get... Buena, I'm sorry I won't be able to do your password today. Because I need to wrap it up. I'm getting tired. It's almost 11 o'clock for me. And unfortunately, I do have to go to work at job tomorrow. ADHD almost... It really did. It really got me there. I had like a 6-hour stream on my hands. But thank you, everybody, for coming by and dropping by and hanging out. Thank you for dropping by for the first time, Cyber Bunny. It was cool to meet ya. Good snack and sleep. Goodbye, everybody. Bye-bye. Bye. Game over, yeah.